There was the only way I should go. Please encourage me. Thank you.
My name is Malaysia Pickens. I depend on you as a part of my village to show me the way I should go. Please encourage me. Thank you.
My name is Aubrey. I depend on you as a part of my village to show me the way I should go. Please encourage me. My name is Milani and I'm going to third grade. Pray for me and my sister. I'm going to miss her being on the bus and at school with me. Thank you.
And basically what they're saying is that, it takes a village. And what they're asking, for those of us who've been there and done that, and those of us who are still standing in front of them and acting as role models, please encourage them. Don't contaminate them. Please encourage Mr. Bruce to come and share with us some of his experiences. Amen. We're basically going down and picking out some of the things that each and every one of us have had to go through, but as a child, having to go through it has to be extra difficult. So we've asked Brother Ryan to talk about challenges. So we're going to give the mic over to him.
Good morning. Good morning. Giving honor to Pastor Rogers, Reverend Walker, First Lady Marius, deacons, members, and friends. I just came to talk to the graduates today. And so far from what I've been doing, I say the biggest thing for me is just to keep the ball rolling at all costs. Because a lot of stuff that you do once you graduate high school is going to be bigger than you. It's not going to be about you anymore. Even though you're the one doing it, it's going to be about the people who support you and even the people who don't support you. So that would be the biggest thing that I got, even from playing football to being over in Kuwait. Every day that you wake up, every day that you wake up, at the end of the day, you got decisions, you got choices on what you're going to do. If you're going to make not even the right or the wrong decision, just the productive decision. Because a lot of the time, I wasn't really encountered with making the right or the wrong decision. It was making a decision that's going to better you at the end of the day. Because a lot of the time, the walk that we live, you already away from those wrong choices. So it's not about that anymore. It's just about making the right choice of being productive and challenging yourself in any way that you can.
Dewan Carter, who's graduated from Washington High School. Tamaria Keyshawn Smith, who graduated from Liberty High School. Malaysia Pickens, who graduated from Quindaro Elementary School. And Damari Davis, who graduated from Banneker Elementary School. And so we have Malaysia, who's here. So I'm not sure if Sister Pickens is going to.
Graduates and everybody, just stay focused on your goals, set them, pray about them. They're attainable, no matter how hard they are. Anything worth having is not going to be easy, but it's definitely attainable. And just keep putting your best foot forward. And good luck to you.
So, Mr. Pickens, I'm making your way up. Okay. And if there's someone else who, if God has placed it on your heart to say a word or two,
Graduates and all the kids and everybody, because they've been through a big challenge this year. And hopefully this is the last challenge they have to go through. But everybody, a lot of people survived, a lot of kids survived. And hopefully the next year coming up will be better, college, high school. school, middle school, elementary. So just congratulations to everybody. Keep on striving.
Anyone else? Oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. She's such a young, petite mom. And she probably think I'm trying to leave her, but I'm not. We love you. Miss Angel, we know she can speak, so we're gonna ask her to speak. I'll just let her speak. Angel Anderson.
Good morning. I'm here to stand together for the graduation of the class of 20 or 21 that's going on to 2022. I'm standing here for Damari as my son, as he completed pre-K, which it was hard. And as I could say, I would like to thank my mother and Regina for pushing me the way I should go. If more for them, I wouldn't be standing where I am now. And now he's going to kindergarten, which that's a big step for me and him. And his goal will, I will keep pushing to get to that level.
Ladies Milani and Damari, and I'm proud of y'all. We danced together, we learned together. I'm very proud of y'all, and y'all are smart kids, and y'all can achieve anything. And don't let anybody tell you what you can't do, because as long as you push through it, you can do whatever you want to do.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sister Tara, because and you're right, people will try to tell you what you can and cannot do, and then you have people who try to live vicariously through you and have you doing this when you should be doing that as well. But I'm gonna put Sister Barbara on the spot, because I know she was used, at least you said so you can say yes or no, but I'm gonna ask you, because what I'm searching for is the struggles of the teachers. What they had to go through in trying to teach the children virtually as well.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Protocol already been established. Due to the virus, I did not go back. So the challenges of virtual learning, I didn't encounter anything. To do your homework, ask questions. I know sometimes, some students in the past were afraid to ask questions. Ask your teachers if you can meet with them after school. Parents, if you can get your kids there early to try to meet with the teachers early on before school starts. That's always helpful. But we have to, our kids are lacking. Our young men are not graduating from high school like they should be. We have young ladies who are not graduating. We really need to take education seriously. My experience is that as a community, many parents are not doing that. And so when kids are coming to school, they're not focused. It's about what was posted on social media. It's everything but doing what we should do. Please read with your kids at night, 30 minutes a day. Make sure your kids can read to you. Make sure they can structure a sentence. Work with them with math, their math skills. All of that helps, because if you don't master the fundamentals now, K through 6th grade, it can be very difficult once you get to middle school. But I just encourage parents to work with their kids. Make sure you don't just rely on teachers to just be the teachers. You have to follow up when the kids get home. Ask them what did they learn. Make sure if they have homework, that they do their homework. We just have to be more prepared and ready and take education seriously. So you can do it. Again, it's a challenge. Just find the right students who are like-minded like you, and lock arms with them.
The biggest challenge as a teacher that I faced while teaching during the pandemic was attendance. My roster had 23 students, but I only would see 10 to 12 students regularly. Some students did not attend until we went back in person in March, which means they missed almost all of school for that year. This failure to attend has created a huge learning gap for these students that has to be addressed in this upcoming school year. A positive that occurred is the collaboration that I got from parents and students during the pandemic. During virtual learning, parents had to play the role as teacher assistant. Parents had to have students on a schedule and their learning environment free of distraction. Students also collaborated by trying several new platforms to do assignments. I think it was a general consensus that this is something new for us all, and everybody will be given grace and mercy during this global pandemic. What I missed most this year during the pandemic was having my students in person. I was elated to have them back in March. As a teacher, there are so many things I look for to help me with my intuition or to help me gauge my students' well-being, how they are feeling, and what they are learning. Many of these clues I use to adjust my teaching, I couldn't get from virtual learning. So when they came back in March, I was happy to meet their needs. We have babies that simply needed a hug, an extra lunch, things like that. One-on-one conversation about what's going on with them. I believe a child can't learn unless the necessary needs are met. Going forward, I pray that we all continue to have mercy and grace for these students, parents, and teachers. They are trying to learn, they are trying to teach during a global pandemic.
Just throughout the year because he didn't really get into the virtual. And then he's home and he's working and he feels like nobody, don't understand. And he has challenges too, trying to get in touch with your instructor. He could change his major. Not to make excuses, but I'm just saying that it's different things that they can go through as a college student going off to school. He has challenges, and I just want to say, he going through the emotion where I should have been finished, but I tell him, everybody's course is not the same. Everybody's path is not the same. Just keep pushing for sticking with you. You came too far to stop, and you will finish. That's right. If I have anything to do with it. But just pray for him that he, because going through, when they go in, you have this expectation and it might not go the way you think it should go, but he's hanging in there. And it's just as a mom with us as a virtual, he had to be a virtual student. And so this next year is just like they're not going to offer virtual, so he has to go back on the campus and coming home dealing with you in the house now. So he's like, I feel like I'm 12 years old and he's been gone for the last 3 years. It's like, okay, where you going? What you about to do? So he has his challenges. He's not 12, but I just, as a parent of a child that's going virtual and went into college and they had to be virtual. And also they had, when he went in, he was with the band and that scholarship and stuff, and it's just like, you don't have a band now, you don't have a scholarship, and it's like that. That's why I told him you feel like emptiness because you have that band there, and it's just like you don't have that busyness and you feeling a void, because you have that busy life, and it's just like, I'm just sitting here now, and I gotta find a job, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But as his mom, as long as I'm on this earth, I'm gonna push him to do what he needs to do, and I thank the people who has always been there when Barbara was talking about, encourage Harry's daughter, Pam. She used to say stuff to me, as he was young, it's just like, when he reads, it's just like, she would turn the faucet on, it's like, it just has to be a steady flow when he reads. Here with her son, virtual, he went to school. I'm proud of her for the things that she did with her son, and she did a great job. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I just want to say one thing. As a parent of kids, you have to put in the work. It's just no other way. You have to put in the work. And when you have to put in the work. And that means you're going to give up a lot of things. I know my girlfriend, she used to always say, well, I don't invite you because you always say, well, Ryan Ryan has this. And I'm going to tell this story, and Ryan probably, he'll get me later on. But when Ryan was little, he he stuttered and he really had problems with reading. He was like in the 1st grade. And he just couldn't get it. He was just having problems. And so the school recognized him. And so they did, they alerted me that he was having problems with reading. So they put him in an after-school program. And so I went up there one day after work to pick him up. And it was just all these kids in there playing. It was just too many kids for him to be getting what he needed. And I made that decision that day that my son was going to get what he needed. Because my son would not be a statistic who could not read. That would not happen on my watch. I took my son to the tutor 4 days a week, $30 an hour. And my husband said, how are we going to afford this? I said, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, but we'll be reading by candlelight, but Ryan don't know how to read. Ryan was in tutor for like 4 years. And it just went down for like 4 days, and then he kept getting better than 3 days, 2 days, and then, and eventually he didn't have to go no more. Right. And then so one day he came home, because by Ryan being the only child, once football season was over, once basketball season was over, he joined anything they had at the school. So then he came home one day and he was like, Mom, I'm on the debate team. I'm on the debate team. And I started crying. And he was like, why are you crying? But he didn't know what that meant to me. Because he went from not knowing how to read to being on this have to put in the work. And if that means that you as a parent are going to give up some of your social outlets or whatever, then that's what it means. But you just have to put in the work. That's just it. As a parent, you have to put in the work. And Barbara, we did read 30 minutes every day. And I gave Ryan anything to read. Sports Illustrated, because he liked sports. So then I started ordering books. Sports Illustrated, he would get the magazine, I would cook dinner, and he reading to me every night. Every night, that was part of he did his homework, and he had to read every day, 30 minutes a day. And if you hear Ryan speak now, you never knew that he stuttered. You never knew that he could not get reading. But the teacher told me, she said, he can't read, but he'll get it. And I told her, that is not acceptable. You have to stand up you have to stand up for your kids. You are your kids' advocate. Right. You have to be your kids' advocate with the teachers, because they would just push them on. That's right. And I told her, that is not acceptable for my son. And her name is Kelly, and we're good friends right now. All right. Because that was not acceptable for me. Right. Tell me that my son can read, but he'll catch on later. That was not, for a teacher, that was not acceptable, and that wasn't gonna go with me. So yeah, but I just want to tell parents, just be encouraging. You gotta put in the work. And just when they turn 18, I don't understand people when their kids turn 18, they just let them go. You're grown. They're grown in size, but they're not grown in mind. In their mind.
And like Kelly said about putting that time in, the same thing with Regina. We all know Regina's still putting that time in every day. Just like with me and the girls, we put that time in because the world ain't loving your child like you think they are. That's right. They is ready to chew them up and chew them up. That's right. We got to be there to pick up the pieces. But if we stay there the whole time, there's less pieces we got to pick up. There's less chewing that they're going to get chewed on, because they're going to already know. Ryan, I love him to death. And I respect him for the man that he's going to grow up to be. He went over to Kuwait as a police officer and go through this and go through that. And I know that he took God with him. That's right. And I know it's like with Kevin, he take God with him. And all our children that we have in our church, they take God along with them. And that's the main thing we have to make sure we give them when they leave our homes. When they go off to college, when they go off to the service, that they got some Jesus in them. Cameron, I was going to tell you to put that split screen on, because they got a sponsor that's going to play for his graduation this morning. And to tell you a little thing about her, that when she left here, her plans were to do an after-school program with the black people in the neighborhood. She had been picking up violin here, cello there, and for long she had a room. Okay? So she finally got everything going. Now she's living in the same city I was born and raised in, and she's a school teacher there, and she got the orchestra program started in the middle school. And when I look at what she's done achieved, and I'm trying to tell her, you're in the right place, because in that district they love to showcase black people that's going somewhere. And so she kept on saying, I don't know if I'm in the right place, Daddy. Just all your horses, the Lord got you. You just keep doing what you're doing. Keep on praising Him. He's gonna elevate you. He's gonna elevate her. She done got different grants and stuff for the school, and the school done gave her all the money that she needs to teach these kids violin lessons and everything. And I'm just so proud that she's doing what she's doing. And I'm gonna move out the way. And after she gets through playing, we're gonna bring her, walk her up for a message for the day. And one thing first, I want to thank everybody that came this morning. I'm glad you have plenty of patience, but this is something that we got to do to recognize our children.
Say that.
You know, sometimes we don't recognize them enough.
Sometimes as parents, you guys, we get a little worried when it's time to send our child off somewhere. But then for me, I don't get into that, but it still encourages me when I get a text saying how well behaved she is, how, good she's representing her mother while she's away. And to that, I want to remind the parents who have raised your child in church, we have instilled in them the word of God. And even if sometimes we don't show it, it doesn't come back to you, Lord. So you have to trust what you put into your child. Trust the Holy Spirit when He says that He will be with your child. And they don't fear. Summer play, a change is gonna come by Sam Cooke. I think that for me, this song encourages me to continue to do what I'm doing, knowing that God is the one who is ultimately the master of the plan. I hope you all enjoy. And I will see you all soon.
I prepared a message for the graduates, and not only the graduates, but for those of us who are still, trying to make it happen, and even those who have made it happen. Because I know that even though, trials and tribulations seem to want to pull us down, sometimes we get discouraged and we do want to give up. But in Ecclesiastes 9:10 through 13, it says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift,